Hey, hey, hey! Welcome, welcome, welcome to Yarwood's Mat Chat. And here we are today at episode number 63, Psychological Effects of Martial Arts Training. And what a great number 63 is. Hey, it was the year I was born, and it's the age that I am. Oh, wow. A double
Coincidences. That's fantastic.
It is. And today we're going to be discussing, this will probably a 2, maybe a 3-part series, because we have 8 points to cover, and it's listed in the when you signed on, or when you sign on, you'll see in the description the 8 things. 1 is emotional regulation, 2, earned confidence, 3, discipline and self-control, 4, stress reduction and clarity, 5, resilience and grit, 6, identity and purpose, 7, social awareness and empathy, and last, number 8, positive aggression channeling. Positive aggression channeling. Positive and aggression in the same combination of words. This is going to get exciting. So if you're not able to be with us all the time tonight, check it out, review it, and then come and see us next week. And if we don't get to number 8 next week, you'll have to just come and see us the following week. So thank you all for being here, and welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, the psychological effects. I mean, look, I had to start shaving my head because Mr. Yarwood had a bald head, and I had to follow my leader. I think I shaved my head before he did, but
that doesn't work with everybody. But
so welcome. I'm going to hand the mic over to you. Welcome, Mr. Yarwood. It's great to see you again. It's great to be here. And yes, we have been talking about happiness, and that's why we're giggling.
We're a little giddy today.
And no, we haven't been drinking. No, we haven't done any drugs other than oxygen. So just to be clear, don't go anywhere with that. Don't go, oh my God, it's 9:45. These guys have probably been sucking down beer or smoking something.
Nope. It's the psychological effects of martial arts training. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. We are this way normally.
It's true. So there's so many positive reasons to do martial arts. I mean, it's countless, right? It's not just physical. There's so many different aspects that you're going to get from training. And to me, it's like I get to be physical, but I also get to relax. I get to train. I get to socialize. It's just on and on and on, all the different effects that training martial arts has. And when you aren't a martial artist and you hear about it, you hear about doing karate or do whatever martial art you hear, you think mostly of just the physical, doing the form or doing the art itself, right? That's what most people think about as an activity. And that's just the surface or the base level of it. That's what gets people in the door. Then you come to realize that there's so many other things that you're gonna experience when you start training, and it's such an incredible thing for. I mean, I see it constantly with not just the kids. I mean, the adults, I think, actually probably get more benefit from it than the kids do, because they really realize and understand what it's doing for them, right? The kids might not even get it. They're probably affected by it, but they don't necessarily realize it, right? Because they're just little kids. They're not paying attention. They're just, oh, I'm supposed to do all these things Mr. Yarwood tells me to do. And, they're learning stuff, right? But the parents start to recognize it, not only in their kids, but in themselves, right? And they have these subtle changes that happen to them along the way, and they start to be more confident in things. They start to feel better about themselves. They start to have, they make new friends inside the dojo that they hang out with outside the dojo, right? And it's such a a cool thing to see, right? And I think like we're starting here with number one is emotional regulation. We come in, and one of the biggest things I think new students have is anxiety, right? Especially adults. Oh my gosh, this is something new. I'm too old to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a fool out of myself. All that, those thoughts run through your head because you're an adult and this is not something, you know, most people think of it as a kid thing. Well, kids do martial arts. Well, no, it's for everybody, right? And when you start to come in and start to realize what that benefit is going to be, it starts to affect how you deal with other things as well, right? You start to have like if you have a stressful job, you can start thinking about what are you learning as a martial artist, in terms of the anxiety and the stress that you deal with to learn forms, to be around, maybe more talent, what you think are more talented people, or they've been doing a lot longer, right? You go to work and you can take all those things that you're learning to deal with all that stuff and that stress and apply it to work, right? You can you're able to stay calm in situations that might otherwise affect you, in terms of anxiety or stress or nervousness or whatever those things are. And when you're able to do that, I think overall it just makes life better for you because you're more easily more lot more easier controlling how you're feeling about things.
For me, I think that any kind of physical activity, when you look at the ability that physical activity has, it literally has your body and all of that. What is it? Is it dopamine?
Yep.
Yep.
Endorphins, dopamine.
Endorphins, and all of that play a significant role in your body relaxing afterwards.
Yep.
Right. So in the beginning, it occurs like your heightened awareness, heightened. But working out, doing that physical exercise, when you're done, there's almost a meditative calm and peace that comes about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that to me is one of the most powerful emotional regulation things, right? To be able to go and take it to the ring, take it to the punching bag, and learn how to express it without it over taking you or over controlling you.
Right.
Being able to express anger in a controlled manner gives you power versus force.
Yep.
And I think that's a huge difference. So many people go, well, I'm super powerful. Well, no, how you occur is really forceful because there's no thinking about the impact over there on how they're receiving your power. And to a lot of people, it could be forceful, right? So to learn that emotional regulation, to be able to feel that adrenaline rush, to be able to learn what it is and how it starts and control it and redirect it and manage it. We often chuckle because there's one of the students is over eager and sometimes he's been doing martial arts a long time, and sometimes his over eagerness, you can tell that he's a teenager because the rules of social etiquette and social regulation he forgets even. Yeah. And it's one of the things that I think sometimes parents are not teaching at home because they let them play with video games. They let them, do that stuff that just allows you to just go crazy. I mean, watching little kids throw toys, right? And parents don't do anything about it.
Or if they do, they just say, "Don't do that. Stop." But that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
I think that's and we can even talk about that if they're throwing toys. There's a temperament thing, right? They're quick to have a temper tantrum. They're quick to, get overly rambunctious. They don't control their anger. They get frustrated really easily because something doesn't go their way, or they can't get something they want, or whatever it is, right? And with the martial arts, with the kids, we bring them in. I teach them how to deal with those situations. We practice being calm and quiet and just standing there and not moving, not talking, not doing anything, right?
And you're not giving them an iPad to look at and stare at.
They're just standing there doing nothing, right? We call it ninja practice. But what it is it's teaching them to just relax and be calm and be quiet, right? And we've done it up to, like with our little dragons, our 4 to 6 year olds. I've done it up to a minute long. That's when you're a 5-year-old kid and you need to stand still for a whole minute. That's like the hardest thing in the world, man. But they do it, right? And it's starting to teach them that they can do that. And then we talk to them about, okay, if you're getting mad or angry, just stand still and be quiet and see what happens, right? Versus picking up a toy and throwing it at your mom and dad, right? That's a whole different thing.
Or the parents trying to bribe them to be quiet.
Yep.
I mean, you watch this in stores, and I'm just like,
Yep.
And we own ice cream shops, and and sometimes I'm just, in shock. Sometimes I'm like, dang, if I wasn't making money off some of this stuff that they're buying to help their kids stop complaining.
Yep.
Because I look and I go, guys, this isn't the way to do it. If they throw a tantrum when you say no, and then you immediately go get what they want, so they stop throwing a tantrum.
Yep. Guess what they're going to do again?
It's Pavlov's theory.
Yep.
They go, look, if I be obnoxious for 30 seconds, my mom will get what I want.
She'll break first.
And then and then the parents go, well, okay, I'm gonna do it longer this time, and they do it for a minute.
Yeah.
And the kid figures it out and says, wow, it's a minute now. And
now I get to be a little craphead for a minute. It's a game.
It is.
We've talked about that with the kids. It's like, here's the deal, or the parents. I mean, so here's the deal. When you go into Target with your kid and they're being whatever, and you say, if you're good, I'll get you a toy. No, that's not how it works. Here's the deal. You're going to be good. That's it. There's no toy at the end of it, right? You're just going to be good. And if you're not good, we're just going to leave and we're going to go home, and that's it. There's no getting a toy. There's no getting your way. There's no ice cream. Nothing against ice cream. I love ice cream too, but it's not a reward for being naughty. It just isn't, right?
And on the flip side of that too, you can't use it for punishment either.
Right. Yep.
I mean, Chad Cullen, the founder, shares an example of, a parent coming in with 5 kids, his 5 kids. One of them is sad and crying and not doing well. And the father says, you're not getting ice cream. So you just got to be quiet, right? You ruined that, blah, 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 because you did X, Y, Z. And Chad came out from behind the counter, pulled the dad aside while the kids were looking at flavors, and said, so you have 2 choices. You have, first choice is let your son have ice cream and deal with the consequences of whatever, you're dealing with later, or all of you have to go. Because I'm not letting ice cream be the disciplinary thing. That's not what this is about. Ice
Yep.
cream is about joy. Our store is about joy and happiness, not about a place to discipline.
Yep.
And to me, that's the emotional regulation.
Yep. And I think right now it's Christmas time, right?
Oh,
How many times have you heard parents say, if you're not good, Santa's not going to bring you any toys? It's like, no,
the naughty list? Are you on the naughty list?
Yep. It's like, first of all, there's two things there. First of all, you're using the love of a jolly old man against a kid, right? That means Santa doesn't love me, right? Or two, if you're going to do that threat, you better follow through with it, right? Because when Christmas Day comes and they come down and they get to open all the presents, that was an empty, hollow threat, and it's not going to work, right? So you have to be able to follow through on what you're going to do. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and you're actually making things worse.
You're going to set yourself up for the next time.
Yep, it's good. It's like you said with the screaming kid. It just gets worse and worse every time. It doesn't get better.
Yeah, because kids don't register that.
Yep. Yeah, the next thing we talk about is earned confidence, right? You start to come in and you start feeling good about what you're doing, right? And pretty soon, and this kind of happens too in school, is like kids show up for a test and they get half their points just for showing up. I showed up today. Yeah, that's great. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You don't get any kudos for being here. Attendance is part of the deal. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You come in and you start to learn and you do more and more and more. If you want to impress me, show up a half hour early and help me clean the school, right? Don't show up on time and say, hey, I'm here. Like, yeah, good. You're supposed to be here. Right? So you start, you make things more and more challenging for them, right? So they start to feel better about what they're doing, and they start to realize that those little things aren't celebrated; they're expected, right? We celebrate something new that you've achieved, a milestone you've made, something you haven't done before, a goal you set, right? Build that confidence to know that, hey, I got to this point. I can get this. Now I can go here. Now I can go here. Now I can go here. And they start to build their confidence in their training. And then, that goes out in the real world too. They start to feel good about what they're doing. They start to want to give more because they feel good. They get more confident in their ability to finish tasks that are probably challenging them. Go find new tasks to challenge them that they hadn't done before because they feel that they can do it, right? If they don't have that confidence, they're just going to do what they're supposed to do and not do anything else, right? So then they feel, if they're in that situation, they feel like they should be rewarded for, putting their name on a piece of paper and showing up. Like, that's great. No, that's requirement. That's not, getting better.
And I believe that when you practice and you achieve more and you grow more, you grow more skilled, that allows you to have the confidence to take on the next level, whatever that is.
Yep.
And when we think about school, where do they teach that?
Quite the opposite is taught. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to get pushed through the grade anyway. So kids start to realize that. Like, why do I need to do this? What's the point? Right? There's no purpose in it if we're all going to go to the next grade anyway. Doesn't matter if I get A's or D's or fail. I'm still going to move forward. And it's such a counterintuitive way to look at things. If you just do the work or you just show up and write your name on a piece of paper, then you'll pass. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's part of what's going on.
Excuse me. Thank you. So we jump into the next one: discipline and self-control.
This is the one.
Out of this one, the third and fourth, I don't know which ones, carries
Well, they
more
kind of
weight.
work together.
They do. We lack discipline in our lives. The government clearly has allowed the population to be less disciplined and get away with it.
On purpose.
Yep.
Designed.
And when you look at what's possible, the habits that get formed when you don't have discipline are as detrimental as the habits that get formed when you have discipline are positive and good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's black and white. If you don't have discipline, life becomes a challenge.
Yep. There's a man named Jocko Willink, and he has a phrase. It's called discipline equals freedom. And he talks about when you have discipline, you do all the things you're supposed to do, you get all your stuff done that you're supposed to get done in a timely manner, then you have time at the end of your day to do the other stuff you want to do. And that just bleeds over into everything else that you do. The more discipline you have, the more discipline you have, the more freedom you're going to have to do the things that you want to do. Because if you're learning how to do all the stuff you need to do, get your list done or whatever it is that you do, you get efficient at doing all that stuff, you finish it off, and if at some point all that hard work pays off. If you don't have discipline, you make your life harder. You make your job harder, right? If you come into work and you have a list of things your boss wants you to do, and you get to work and you spend a half hour checking your emails, and then you go to the socials, and then you go take a smoke break, and then you come back, and pretty soon, it's 2 hours into the day and you haven't even started your list yet because you didn't have the discipline to just get right to it. Then you're complaining you don't have enough time. It's like, well, you spent 2 hours doing nothing, right? If you come in and you have a checklist and you have the discipline to get all your stuff done, guess what? By the end of the day, you're probably going to have some time to do all those things and still have gotten your work done. So it's just a matter of you decide that you're going to do something. You decide you're going to show up. You decide if you don't feel like it, it doesn't matter. Do it anyway, right? Don't take a break until the work is done. Get disciplined enough to figure out that I'm going to do this, and when I'm done, I get to have some free time. Just like I tell the kids at school or when they go to school, homework first, then play. Chores first, then play. Once you get all your stuff done, then you can do whatever you want. It doesn't go the other way. You don't get to come home and play and then do your homework. Just finish it and be done with it.
Yeah. This is extreme ownership is so good because it really is, as we get older, we have a choice about discipline.
Yep.
Choice about self-control. And a lot of people say, well, no, my kid doesn't have self-control. He's got this problem or that problem, or he's autistic or da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, we're here and we have proof of the psychological effects of martial arts training. We don't beat it into them.
Nope.
We don't electrocute them to have that.
Nope.
We don't put electrodes on them. we teach them that given where they're at, what's appropriate and what's not, and how to control it and how to use what they have in a manner that makes them that much more effective.
Yep. I
And
call it compassionate discipline.
And I think, I can't even imagine if I was to be the 8-year-old and 9-year-old that I was today. I think I think they'd put me in a straitjacket. I really do. And they would have me pumped so full of chemicals and drugs, I'd walk around like a drone.
Yeah.
And yet my father and my stepmother created discipline. They taught me what self-control was. And they were, they used strict discipline and they used soft discipline and they used, if they took away what I would call a reward that we would go skiing, they would take it away from themselves as well. Like they would say, okay,
sacrifice.
Yeah, we're not going skiing this weekend. Well, why not? Because you've not done what you said you would do.
Yep.
For us to be able to do that.
Yep.
Well, I'll go do it right now. No, that doesn't work like that.
It's too late.
Yeah.
You missed your opportunity. And the reason you're doing it now is because you want something, not because you're supposed to do it.
Yep.
That's a whole different reason. And that's not discipline.
Yeah.
If you just, it's simple, but not easy, right? It's very simple. Do what you're supposed to do. Applying it is hard, but that's the whole point.
and it's like a muscle.
Yep.
I think, and that's another thing that people don't understand, how much like a muscle it is.
Yep. It's work. It takes practice. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes all that stuff. It doesn't just happen. What does happen is not doing stuff. That's the easy part. I don't feel like it. All right. That's easy. That's a decision that you made. You still have to make a decision to do something. Discipline is that challenge. It makes you have to go do stuff and keep yourself focused and moving forward, whether you like it or not. Whether you feel good, feel bad, feel indifferent, motivated, unmotivated, none of that matters. You just do it. It's going to suck sometimes, but that's part of the deal. Then you do something that sucks and you hate and you get it done. You feel good about it. Like, hell yeah. I didn't want to do it, but I still finished it. It sucked, but I did it and I finished it. You feel good about it. And if you're one of those people who likes to do a check mark or a line across your stuff, even better.
Yeah, I think that, people don't understand the power of that, creating boundaries for your kid to work within.
Yep. That's what they want. They want it. The main reason kids act out is because they're trying to figure out how much they can get away with. They're trying to figure out where the edges are, right? And if you allow them to keep going, those edges get further and further apart, and they're hard to bring them back in. It's okay to let your kids do a little bit, push some things, right? That's how they test things, but you got to make sure that it's a very clear boundary. This is the edge. Anything beyond that is not acceptable. And then they go, okay, I can go that far to the right. Now how far can I go this way? It's like a bowling alley, right? There's gutters on the side for a reason. It's the way it is. You work within those parameters. And when they start to understand that, they feel better about themselves because they know what they're supposed to do. They know the rules. right? If they don't know the rules, they don't know that they're supposed to be good or bad. They don't, when they're little kids, they don't know the difference. They need to be taught that stuff.
And I don't think it's a bad thing that we have to look at that and be responsible for that.
No. But if parents, and like you talked about your parents, you have to sacrifice. Sometimes you have to give up stuff you want to do too, because it sends a message to them that, hey, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then none of us gets to do it. Right? And guess what happens to that kid? They're like, oh, they feel that pressure now, because it's not just them, they're affecting everybody. They're like, wait a minute, I don't want to do that, because now everybody's looking at them like, what? Come on, dude. They don't want that pressure on them either. So, okay, it helps them to do the things they're supposed to do so they don't affect everybody around them.
Yeah. So moving into, as you said, we may not get very far today, right? We covered 3.
Yep.
So I think when we come back next week, we'll start about stress reduction and clarity. And as you go into your week this week, start to look and see how many times you actually regulate your emotions. How many times are you being responsible for self-control, discipline? And what are you as an adult or as a parent, what are you doing to earn confidence in yourself?
Yep.
Any final thoughts for you, Mr. Yarwood?
No, I mean, we spent a couple weeks on leadership, right? This applies to that, because when you have discipline in your life, say, and you show that to your kids, they start to see that and they recognize that, and it helps them to become more disciplined too. While you're teaching them how to be disciplined, you're showing them as well, right? So it all this stuff just all works and ties together. But in order for your life to not be chaotic, you need to just discipline yourself and do the things you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I'm just we definitely had some people agreeing with us today. We got Jen Anderson Giese, Rose Nambozo, and Praveen Paul have given us the thumbs up today. So thank you. And there's a couple people have been watching on X this whole time.
Cool.
So thank you for being there. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we do this every Wednesday night, somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock. We start depending on how much integrity we got to restore with ourselves around what we're up to.
Yep.
And next week we'll be back here on Wednesday, and we'll start off with stress reduction and clarity for episode number 64. Thank you much, Mr. Yarwood.
Yes, sir.